What's up there, YouTube? And back here, starting to, as you can see, we got the frame for the little go-kart truck thing that we're making, the little lowrider, and got it all stripped down all to its little bits, and started doing some work on the frame, just cleaning up a lot of the little things, finishing up some of the welding. And we have started to try this new product that I'm going to be using for a lot of the powder coat. Basically an epoxy packed with metal. And so far it just looks like gray epoxy, and it's been curing for, I don't know, about 18 hours. It says give it 24-hour cure, and then put it in the oven and bake it at 450 degrees, and it will be just like steel. And right now it's pretty. I mean, you can, some of the hangy bits you can just kind of rub off, so in this point it's in a sandable state, and of course it's in a sandable state. Once it's cured, it's just going to be much more difficult. This here is kind of like that shaping state, and I want to shape all this in and make this look nice. So that's kind of what we're going to do today, and we're getting all the other parts, all the different A-arms and suspension pieces and all that kind of stuff cleaned up so that we can get a prep for powder coat. And the biggest thing I can say, just real quick, I mean, we'll touch on that once we start doing the powder coating thing, is that anytime that you're messing with this kind of stuff, make sure you get every little bit of powder coat or paint or whatever off of it. In painting and powder coating, 95% of the work is prep. And especially with this, anytime that you're using new steel, from about here to here is new steel on the back of here. It needs to be outgassed, which means that you need to get this steel good and hot, because what it'll do is it'll draw all of the all the oils and impurities and stuff like that out of the steel. Then you let it cool down, you wipe it off with some acetone, clean it, and then you're ready to go. It's always recommended anytime that you're doing powder coating to outgas what you're doing. And outgassing means just basically just get it really nice and hot to draw out any of those impurities, because those impurities can bleed through your powder coat, and kind of, especially in those lighter colors. Black, it probably wouldn't make that big of a deal. You might notice a little bit in the shine or shimmer of it, but when you're dealing with the lighter colors, it will. I've seen it on some silvers and stuff like that, and it makes it kind of look like coffee, just kind of browns it a little bit. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to start sanding this in, and like I said, continue on the prep stuff for all this. Once we get everything completely prepped, I mean, we're about 75% the way there, we're going to pull out the powder coat oven and get you set up for all that. And I'm hoping that that's going to be tomorrow. I'm hoping we can finish all this prep. I got just a little bit of welding left to do and a little bit of prep left to do, and we should be good to go to start doing, to lay some yellow on this. It's supposed to be a really nice, cool, shimmery yellow color, but we'll see. So yeah, hang in there, guys, and we'll bring you back for another one. See you in a bit. Hey there, YouTube. Well, this is my horribly messy garage, but today we are doing a little bit of powder coating, and eventually, when I don't have 8 million projects going on all at the same time, I'm going to hopefully get this a little bit more streamlined and a little bit better setup. But in reality, it's a really simple process. We're going to be doing this frame. It's still a little warm. We've already got a couple of pieces in the cabinet, and a simple process. We've got the Eastwood dual voltage powder coat done and set up here. works great. And one thing I can say is it is a good idea for the ground that you need for this to actually run a ground in the ground, which I haven't done yet because I haven't quite got a permanent setup for it. But once I kind of got a better idea of exactly where I'm going to do this, because I might be doing it out back, I'm going to drive a rod down on the ground to make sure you get the better the ground, the better it's going to stick to your to your piece that you're trying to powder coat. But well, here, we'll bring you along here. Let me show you something real quick. So this is the frame here. This is that all metal stuff that I used to kind of mold in this, this area here, and just a little bit right through here. It worked pretty good. We'll see how it looks when it's powder coated. There is some pitting and stuff in here. The pain in the butt about this, the all metal that's the higher temperature stuff, is it needs to cure for 24 hours. So you apply it, it cures, you sand it, and you're like, okay, I got some low spots, got to put some more on, let it cure, sand it, okay, yeah, and you got to keep going back and forth. That's kind of a pain in the butt. The other stuff doesn't need that process. The only benefit to this stuff is it can be reheated and reheated and reheated multiple times. Whereas the other stuff can only take 400 degrees once and like 250 degrees multiple times. So, but had to fix one thing on these Chinese frames. This engine mount was actually, the metal was actually tearing right here in a couple of spots. So we added some more welds in the front and the back. But just be aware, when you're romping on these things, this Chinese metal is not that great. So other than that, this here's the powder coat. I took an old Harbor Freight tire changer, which by the way sucks, and used the mount, so I've got some kind of wheel. I put some wheels on it so I can roll it around, put that on there. I've got an old rack for hanging clothes, like a portable garment rack to do there. And then there's the powder coat oven, which is basically just a big steel cabinet. Let's see, I don't know how well it's going to come through, if it's just going to reflect me, but there's a couple of pieces in there. I'll go around the back, and it's basically got one element up here. I've got two lights from it. The other element's down there. Got the sensing probe here that's in there. And then this guy here, which it's the Inkbird. I'll have to see if I can put a link in there what the actual model number for it was. But basically what it is it's a controller with a contactor. You run 240 into it, which I've got the plug there that goes, same plug for my welder. And I just put a little rack to hang all the cords on. But basically people who do who brew their own beer, or for a kiln, that sort of thing, that's what that's typically used for. And it works great. If you can use the original electronics from the from the oven, but mine were screwed up, and that is, if you want a very accurate temperature, the problem with your oven is it's got a little bit of a temperature, it's got a temperature swing built into it, and this here has got like, you can get it all the way down to like tenths of a degree swing, where it just sits there and goes up and down and controls it. I think ours is set right now at like a half of a degree or a degree temperature swing. So it's awesome as far as being extremely accurate as far as what your temperature is. And yeah, so let's go take a look. Did a couple of pieces yesterday in black. It's you know, the carrier bearing. We've got our steering wheel and shaft. It's a little skid plate thing, and then that's our brake lever. But so I just did those. That's like a stone black, so it's not matte, but it's also not gloss. It's kind of, you know, kind of satiny. I'm gonna do that. I think I'm still not sure if I'm doing the dash in black or the yellow, but I'm not quite done with the dash yet. So I got a little antsy and wanted to do some powder coating. So other than that, that's kind of where we're at. So we got about another 20 minutes or so, and we can pull those yellow pieces out and see how they turned out. So, all right, guys, we'll bring you back here in a bit. Now, I've been just powder coating, just started it. You know, I just got just got my setup and everything. Just got the oven all put together. So, you know, bear with me. You know, I'm trying different things and seeing what I can get away with and what I can't get away with. These just came out of the oven, so they're still pretty hot. Can't really touch them, but see those little spots right there? That's what happens when you get contaminants or you do not fully cure or fully strip what you're doing. Now there's some thin spots. I was just noticing, I don't think that's thin. I think that's that old powder coat coming through that I did not fully. Yeah, this one was bad. I did not do a very good job on prepping that one. So it, you know, just like in any kind of painting, powder coating, that 90% of your success is prep. How well you're preparing the surfaces and taking care of, you know, the products and using the products properly. So it was probably a little thin, I think, which was part of my problem. I'm kind of seeing here that I think my powder coat on here was a little thin. But looks good enough for what this little thing is. And again, like, you know, we're learning. You know, I'm not charging anybody to do this stuff. I'm just playing around right now, you know, just trying to learn it. And either way, it's going to be a much more durable surface than the original stuff. So, all right, well, back at it. We are currently waiting for the frame to go through its process. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow, when this stuff is all done, I will be able to put that, you know, I got to clean up this table and stuff. I will be able to start putting this guy back together. And then, of course, we got to start tackling the body and stripping down the paint and stuff like that on it to try to prep it. And you know, we're just painting it. We're not powder coating it, and because you can't. But yeah, it's coming along. So it won't be long, guys. Well, anyways, we'll be back shortly. Well, we got all this stuff powder coated, and definitely learned a couple of things. Number one, I'm not too pleased with the prismatic powder coat. Maybe it was something I did or didn't do, but I just did not like the way it flowed, the way it covered. You know, this is hot coats stuff, you know, from Eastwood, and it just seemed to act quite a bit better. You know, all this stuff, when I'm looking on here, looks like it was put on really thin. And I mean, I coated the crap out of it, you know, and it just did not come out as well as I'd liked it to. So, unfortunately, I mean, that's just how things go sometimes. So, yeah. It's just a little Chinese ATV toy thing. I think it's going to be pretty fun either way. And got some of the basic suspension parts here, steering wheel, that kind of thing. I'm going to get the basic frame put back together, and yeah, just go from there, I guess. And after that, wheels, build the engine, paint the body, put it all together, and make it a fun little toy. So, but yeah, it's just some lightness in it. Like, it just didn't flow very well, and it's everywhere. And I mean, I have this thing just covered. So, it is what it is. But we're gonna getting this thing put back together, and yeah, should be kind of fun. So we'll bring you back with some more stuff. Thanks.